YouTube was it's your boy Zell back with another banger video. In this video, we got Terence Crawford announcing retirement if he doesn't get the Canelo fight. Eddie Hearn says this. Well, first of all, I don't trust anything Eddie Hearn says because he has a history of of making big black unifications not happen. Case in point, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Eddie Hearn was in the middle of that. He was in the middle of it, and then one of the reasons it didn't happen. Jerron Ennis versus Brian Norman. He was also in the middle of that. Middle of it, reason it didn't happen. If those two fighters, if those fighters were all independent, I guarantee you they fight each other and unify. But Eddie Hearn is always in the middle of it, making it not happen. Um, so I don't really care what Eddie says. I care what Terrence says. So let's get it.
Wow. So Terence Crawford will announce his retirement, according to Eddie Hearn. Eddie, who's been extremely disrespectful to Terence Crawford ever since Crawford left Top Rank. When Crawford was a free agent, Eddie damn near slammed the door in his face, refusing to sign him. Eddie Hearn decided to side with Bob Arum when Crawford decided to sue Bob Arum for racial bias. Leading up to the Madrimov fight, Eddie Hearn was extremely disrespectful to Terence Crawford. Not only before the fight, but even after the fight. So we know he wasn't just doing that to promote the fight. And let me tell you, man, I hate when some of these guys are being extremely disrespectful to these black fighters. And the black fighter, a lot of times, is always trying to defend them and make excuses for the person that's being disrespectful to them. We seen Terence Crawford do this with Eddie Hearn. We seen Terence Crawford do this with Bob Arum. I mean, when are these black fighters going to learn? When you are outside of that ring, that microphone that you have is the most powerful weapon in the world. Clearly, people like Eddie Hearn and Bob Arum, they understand that. So with that being said, Eddie Hearn, who has never been interested in the Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, he's always tried to discredit that fight, saying it's going to be boring because Crawford is not going to engage. He's going to run basically.
But his narrative, even Jose Alvarez, Jose Benavidez Senior said Terence Crawford is a runner and he's not entertaining, even though he knocked out Jose Benavidez Jr., senior's son, in his 12 knockout streak, 11-12 knockout streak. So these dudes, they're gonna run with their narratives for reasons to duck. They're gonna make up a narrative that fits their reasoning. We don't want to fight Terence Crawford. We're gonna make up a narrative that make it look cool not to fight him. We don't want to fight Shakur Stevenson. We're gonna do the same thing. You hear me? Terence Crawford came to 154 and fought a smart fight. He didn't crash out. He stayed in himself and he won. So all the losers gonna make excuses and call people runners and shit. But the losers are losers. And who listens to losers when you want to win? Eddie Hearn is a perpetual loser, especially his fighters. Perpetual losers. He got swept by Queensberry. He got swept. Terence Crawford undefeated against Eddie. This shit crazy, bro. And y'all gonna listen to the losers? Come on, man.
And those are not the fights that Canelo Alvarez likes. So Eddie Hearn, he's trying to act like he's not aware that Canelo Alvarez was the one that pushed for a Caleb Plant fight, when everyone knows Caleb Plant moves in a ring more than Terence Crawford does. Half of the opponents that Canelo Alvarez has been in a ring with were movers. They moved in the ring. They used lateral movement. They circled around the ring. The same way Canelo moved around the ring when he fought Golovkin the first time. But I digress. So now Eddie Hearn, he's saying that Terence Crawford is going to retire if he doesn't get the Canelo Alvarez fight. This is what Eddie Hearn said. This is the problem with Terence Crawford. I don't think Crawford will ever fight again unless he gets the Canelo fight. I don't think he's motivated to fight. He's made a lot of money, and he's not going to take short money for a tough fight, like a Virgil Ortiz fight. And I think that's the same for Devin. It's a bit where the money killed the game a little bit because it's just unrealistic to make certain fights. Now, Turkey Al-Sheikh, he did say something similar. He said the only fight that Crawford wants is the Canelo Alvarez fight. He doesn't want any other fight but that fight. But at the same time, when Terence Crawford was interviewed himself and he was asked if he can't get the Canelo Alvarez fight, is he going to retire? And he shut retirement down right away. He said it's still a lot more that he wants to do. So, yeah, clearly he's not planning on retiring. And clearly There's a lot of fights out there that are
My
available.
point exactly. Eddie Hearn talking about he thinks this, he thinks that. We don't give a fuck what you think. You thought it was a good idea for Anthony Joshua not to fight Deontay and Jerron not to fight Brian Norman and for you to lose the fucking purse bid. We don't give a fuck what Eddie Hearn think. Terence Crawford said himself, man, I got him been Terence Crawford could be 3 times undisputed and set the bar so high that nobody else could climb it. Why the fuck was he worried about Canelo? Canelo only undisputed in one weight class. Bud already done it twice. The fuck is niggas talking about Canelo, Canelo, Canelo? I've got Bud beating the fuck out Canelo. Canelo is shorter than Bud. He got shorter arms than Bud. If they meet at 160, I got Bud beating the fucking shit out of Canelo. What are we talking about, man?
For him. But Eddie is trying to imply that Crawford wants too much money for these fights. But the good news is Crawford is not working with Eddie Hearn. Crawford is working with Turkey Al-Sheikh directly. So this is not really an Eddie Hearn problem. And I know Turkey, he's not going to have a problem paying Terence Crawford the money he wants. But I would say I think Crawford, he should be a little bit more active in the ring. He should fight at least twice a year, especially considering the fact that he's 37 years old now. With that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. That's all I got for now.
Man, shout out Dante's Boxing Nation, man. Um, Shout out Dante. Yeah, like I said, we don't care what Eddie Hearn thinks. Terence Crawford got so many fights. He can be undisputed. Fedora don't want to fight Crawford. If Fedora vacates Crawford already unified, then he can fight Fedora, take the third belt. There's so many things he can do. And they're probably trying to set up that Tim Zoo undisputed because Tim Zoo been trying to get undisputed since Jamel was the champion. But nobody beat Jamel. Jamel still he not the king of 54 anymore, but when he went up to Canelo, he was the king. That's why he went up because nobody at 54 could challenge him. He didn't want to go up to 60 because that's where his brother was, and he don't want to fight his brother, and I respect that. But with that being said, man, like, comment, subscribe, and share this, man. We're gonna roll to 2K till next time.